So recently I watched all of Marvel's Iron Fist, and it was goddamn terrible. It's terrible for a few reasons, a lot of reasons. I'll go into that in a more full-length video, probably with Dr. Agro in the near future. But specifically, I want to tackle the topic of people bitching about the race of Iron Fist, and that he should have been Asian. And there's this huge outcry for why wasn't he Asian? And I'm like, well, the short answer is he isn't Asian in the comic books. So they made him not. So they made him a white guy in the Netflix series, like he is in the comics. I mean, that's the simple answer. But like, people think like, oh well, he's the martial arts character. He has this huge Oriental background. He should have been Asian. Well, he doesn't have an Asian background. He's the whole concept. He's a stranger in a strange land. And like the idea is that he comes from somewhere else, and then he goes to this place and he is the best at the thing that they do there. And yeah, like I can understand like them not wanting like people not wanting him to be white, because then kind of becomes like the white savior archetype, the white guy who goes to like the foreign culture and through his powers of white supremacy is better than anyone else at this thing that they do. Because we kind of have that narrative a little too much. We have it with Dances and Wolves, we had it with The Last Samurai, we had it with fucking Avatar. But hey, at very least, two out of those three things is really fucking good. The shitty one was Avatar, in case you guys were wondering. But so with Iron Fist, I can understand though not wanting to make him white. On that same, like, on the flip side, though, I don't think he should have been Asian, because when you have, like, if you had made him Asian, then in the entire MCU, you have one Asian superhero who, what's his deal? He's the Kung Fu guy. And that comes with its own kind of, inherently racist, stereotypical baggage. So no, I think it's a dumb fucking idea, because then people would bitch like, oh, they made the Asian stereotype Kung Fu guy like the Asian guy. It's just, you end up with that fucking argument instead. So honestly, I would totally be fine with Danny Rand not being white, like. But at the same time, I don't agree with him being Asian, because then you run into that other fucking stereotype problem that becomes an issue. Honestly, like, he could have, and I don't know why people are so latched onto him being Asian specifically, just solely because he's the Kung Fu guy, because like I said, that comes off as kind of fucking racist. And yeah, you can say like, well, the Asian community wants that. Well, maybe the Asian community's kind of dumb in that regard. Fuck it, I'll say it, because, then you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna have that whole fucking swath of people, because, fucking bitching about that. Iron Fist could have been anything. Like, if, honestly, in an ideal world, yeah, like, I think, maybe the Marvel Universe needs more diversity, because a lot of these characters were made in, like, the goddamn 60s and the 50s, where we weren't the most racially diverse, so you end up with a lot of white male characters. But at the same time, though, like, why argue specifically that Iron Fist be Asian? Why not bitch that say, I don't know, Hawkeye isn't Asian, or Doctor Strange wasn't well, then I guess Doctor Strange has that whole Oriental thing going on too, so maybe that's not the best thing. But, why not argue that Captain America, the symbol of America itself from World War II, how interesting of a narrative would that have been to make Captain America Asian? Like, say like a Japanese man fighting on the side on the side of America in World War II, of all things. That could have made for a great fucking narrative. And you don't run into that kind of weird racist hiccup that you run into with Iron Fist. Like, Iron Fist, honestly, like, if you're gonna change his race, make him Hispanic. Make him Hispanic, make him Indian, Arab, make him Hebrew, make him anything that isn't white or Asian, basically, is what I'm saying. And that's kind of just my whole thing there. Is just, don't be pissed that Iron Fist isn't Asian, because that's like the completely wrong fucking argument to make. Like, him being Asian would not have inherently made the story better. Him being Asian would not have made the martial arts sequences better. Like, those are just dumb fucking ideas. And like I said, it's gonna come with its own kind of racially charged subtext because of it. So yeah, no, like Iron Fist, like I said, I'm totally down with recasting or changing the race of characters as long as their race is an inherent part of their character. And in the case of Danny Rand, like him being an outsider kind of makes sense because because I feel like also if you kind of make him Asian, then you have kind of this like, oh well, he's like this Asian guy who's like going back to his ancient roots or something, and that kind of comes off as a little weird too, and also isn't the actual like original narrative of Iron Fist. So but like I said though, I'm totally down with changing the races of characters. I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, he needs to always be like when Michael B. Jordan was announced as Johnny Storm. I thought that was great fucking casting. The movie fucking sucked, but fucking Michael B. Jordan sounded like the best fucking option you could have for Johnny Blaze or not Johnny Blaze. Fuck. Oh, Johnny Storm. There we go. I fucking said Johnny Storm. Like he would have been like a great fucking Johnny Storm if he had been written correctly. He wasn't, unfortunately. That's just kind of the issue you ran into there. But he like that was good casting. Like the casting with that movie wasn't the problem. At least as far as Michael B. Jordan was concerned. But yeah, so that's all I really want to say. Kind of bitching about people bitching, which is I guess what I do a lot. Whatever. Yeah. So yeah, fuck those people who say that Iron Fist should have been Asian. They're all dumb. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Till next time, Xeon. Oh wait, out.